What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex. I talk a lot of movies. If this is your first time here, on occasion video games, and today I'm going to be talking about the movie that I missed last week, and that is The Boogeyman, not the 2005 version written by Eric Kripke. What were you thinking, man? You made Supernatural, and Supernatural was good for the first 5 seasons and then kind of dipped in the middle and finished up somewhat strong, but man, what were you thinking with that movie? Still reeling from the tragic death of their mother, a teenage girl and her younger sister find themselves plagued by a sadistic presence in their house and struggle to get their grieving father to pay attention before it's too late. So, as I referenced it, that 2005 version exists. I am not going to acknowledge it for the rest of this video because I know it's a horrible movie. I've seen it. It's awful. I don't want to ever watch it again until maybe I review it for like a Halloween spooktacular or something, which will probably happen. So I heard like mixed to decent things about this, so I was like, I definitely got to check it out eventually. And I checked it out over watching Spider-Verse again. Maybe a mistake. Look, this movie has a good creature design. It felt original. It was actually kind of terrifying. Like certain parts of this creature just come out. It's like, oh, like there were moments where I was visibly gasping and choking on my own breath because I was just like, that's actually kind of gross, especially for a PG-13 horror movie. You also have a solid lead performance here from Sophie Thatcher, who I think is really, really, really good in the movie. She was actually previously in the Book of Boba Fett. Wait, in Boba Fett, it's either The Mandalorian or Boba Fett. Was she part of like that Power Rangers-ish biker gang that I didn't like? Oh no. So she's really good in the movie, and she actually does a really good job at portraying her character and how her character is written. I don't even remember her character's name, and I'll talk about me remembering this movie in a little bit. But her character is dealing with a tragedy. Her and her sister, the loss of their mother, and the way that this movie portrays grief and the way that Sophie Thatcher portrays somebody who is dealing with grief and is trying to process grief and is trying to process a lot of different emotions as to how to overcome this grief or move on, or you know, how to actually like grieve in a sense. She does a really good job, and she gives a solid lead performance, and I'm glad to see that after Book of Boba Fett she's getting a little bit more work. She's getting more into the mainstream, and that's good for her because I think she can pull off characters like this. Rob Savage directed this movie. He directed that like hybrid movie slash short Host, which I actually thought was really good. And then he did Dashcam, which he totally fumbled the bag on. That's kind of what got me worried about this Boogeyman movie, because I was like, it could either be on the level of Host, or honestly just be a steaming pile of shit like Dashcam. And I think he does a good job at setting up mood and atmosphere. A lot of dark corridors, dark rooms. You anticipate the jump scares. They're not quite there where you anticipate them, so it makes you jump. So he's good at staging that stuff. I just don't find the movie all that memorable in the long run. It was like 20 minutes after the movie ended, and I had already left the theater to go to Target to get the Super Mario Brothers movie on 4K. And it's literally when I was on the train, I said, okay, what did I just watch? Because I literally do not remember a lick of this movie. And that's probably my biggest issue with Boogeyman, is that it's just not very memorable. It's stuff that's been done so many times before, even though it has that central message as to how to process grief and how to deal with it. Everything else, from like scares, tension, and how to like kill the thing too. Like you don't feel it's as original as the movie is making it come across to be. And even though there are some jump scares in this movie, I didn't feel like that most of the scares, other than the grotesque imagery of the creature when he's like ripping other parts of his body off, and I visibly was grossed out in some parts. I guess the atmosphere built that tension, but the scares didn't really do it for me at all, and the script's not very good either. There's like this subplot where she has this group of friends that really don't like her all that much, and I don't know. I thought that they were going to do something towards the end to bring them back in, and they just kind of leave the movie, and I'm like, why do we have to have that? Just for more conflict for the main character. So it's all stuff that you've seen before. It's all predictability. That way it feels superficial. It doesn't feel as if it's organic, or it doesn't feel natural. And the movie's just not very memorable to me. And also, it took a while for me to get going. I've noticed that with Rob Savage movies, that even Host, it takes a little bit. It's almost as if it's a slow burn to get going. Once it finally gets going, it picks up the pace a little bit, but I feel like it's a little too far and few in between some of these moments, and I think that's why maybe this movie is just not as memorable for me. I'm gonna say I enjoyed The Boogeyman with only half a bucket of popcorn. At least it was better than that 2005 movie. That's what I will say. At least it was better than that. It felt like it was competently made, and it had merit to it. It's just erased from my memory. It's floating somewhere in the ether, and I'm never ever gonna come back to this movie ever again. I don't think. And then when I watch it, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying this, and then I'll probably forget it again if I ever watch it again. So guys, if you have seen The Boogeyman, let me know what you think about it. Drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.